There's a new deployment method for the popular single share solution Seafile. So if you're already using Seafile or if you plan to install Seafile in the future, this video might be quite interesting for you. Hi, my name is Christoph from Datamate, the primary support and sales partner of Seafile in Europe. And well, we developed a new deployment approach and configuration approach for the popular single share solution Seafile. So before, and in this video, I want to show you how easy it becomes or how easy it is to install Seafile and to configure it with this new approach. But before I just jump into just a virtual server and then show you everything, how easy it is, give me just a minute to explain why we developed this new approach. Well, the main driver behind this new approach is that we want to provide our customers the possibility to install Seafile and especially a Seafile cluster without a lot of configuration actions on various nodes. We want to make it quite easy and simple to install a cluster, and especially with Kubernetes. And well, if you're familiar with Seafile, well, you know that Seafile is configured with various configuration files, and then it's typically required to change these configuration files and then to restart the services. And well, this is not really compatible and also not really up-to-date approach how to configure a software because it's not possible to do this with Kubernetes. Instead, it would be necessary or would be required that you can configure a software completely with environment variables. And every time you restart the container, the configuration files that are still required by the software Seafile are completely rewritten. So that means we didn't do any change to the core software Seafile. Well, basically everything what we did is we took the container, the already existing Seafile professional container, and we replaced the scripts that are executed during the startup of the container. And these scripts take all the configuration, it takes all the environment variables and they rewrite the configuration files. And well, this has, from my point of view, a lot of advantages. First of all, it enables us to provide just an easy to use Helm chart to install Seafile on Kubernetes with just, like this. Also, the basic installation on a single node with Docker becomes a task of 1 or 2 minutes. Also, the installation of a Seafile cluster, which typically takes 1 to 2 hours before you have everything in place, copying all the configuration files, it's just a matter of minutes. It's really super easy. And the second advantage from my point of view is you have all the configurations in one place. You don't have to search different configuration files. You don't have to, compare configuration files of different nodes. No, on every node, on every server, you just check the environment files and the file where you have all your environment variables, and you just immediately know what is running, what is configured on this server. So it makes super easy to just document what kind of changes you have on the server. Well, this should be it. Everything that I want to tell about, of explanation why we developed this new approach. This approach is totally in line with the Seafile Limited. So they agreed, we discussed this new approach. We needed to deliver a solution for some of our customers here in Europe, and they are totally fine with this, that we developed this new approach. And now I would like to jump into a virtual server, and I would like to show you how easy it is to install such a new Seafile server. So I'm already logged into my root console, and this is just a basic virtual machine I just booked by the German service provider Hetzner, and it has basically 2 CPUs, 4 GB of RAM, and it's super easy to install Seafile on it. And we created an admin manual for this new deployment approach. I will link it in the video notes. This is basically run on a GitHub page. This should not be a replacement of the official manual. It should be an extension to only explain this new deployment approach. And as you can see here, we just differentiate between installation via Docker and installation via Kubernetes. In today's video, I only want to talk about installation with Docker. Okay, to make the installation of a single node as easy as possible, we tried to create a manual that, well, can just be followed from the top to the bottom, and everything that you just have to do is to closely follow the instructions, and mainly you just have to copy and paste the commands that we have provided here into your console, and then you are just ready to go. Okay, first one is just installing some basic tools. So I just copy it to the clipboard, I ran it here. Okay, executing, and it just, as you can see, it downloads from the Hetzner mirrors from Debian. It just installs some basic features. Wrong image, wrong window. Okay, next one is we need Docker. The new deployment approach does not support this package installation anymore. We only are working with Docker. So we need to install Docker. So this one-liner just gets from getdocker.com a script that takes care of installing all the necessary Docker packages and Docker Compose. Okay, this will take just some seconds. We can go ahead. Okay, the next command will download from GitHub, from our GitHub repository Seafile release, a set of pre-prepared YAML files and a prepared env file. The logic is we already have everything prepared that you can just use, and all the different components that you might run on your server are added to a separate YAML file, and you can define you can configure and define everything in your environment variable file. You can tell which YAML file you want to use, which should be combined into a big YAML file, and then just execute it with Docker Compose. So I will just explain it in more detail. So first, let's copy to the clipboard. Okay, Docker is installed. I just paste it here. And what we now have is we have a new folder, opt Seafile Compose. Here you can see all the different YAML files, and we already have this env file. Let me quickly open this with an editor. So the first line is basically the most important one, because this line tells Docker which YAML files should be used. So that means out of all these YAML files that we already prepared, so you see here a cluster configuration for the front end, cluster for the back end, we don't use this. The only YAML files that are currently used is Caddy, which will be our reverse proxy. We decided to use this one because it makes TLS termination and Let's Encrypt certification management super easy, because you don't have to do anything. And we use a prepared Seafile Professional Edition YAML, which just downloads the Docker image and which is just pre-configured by ourselves. And here you can see we have already some pre-configured environment variables. You can see here some empty spaces. So for sure we will have to add at which URL or server host name our system should be reached. We can define an initial web admin. We need a root password for our database connection, and we need some additional secrets. And this is basically something we will just create in a second. Give me just a second. We just follow on the manual. So for Elasticsearch, which is required for the full text search, we need to create a directory up front. Otherwise, Elasticsearch cannot write to this directory. This is something, this is just necessary that we need this folder. Otherwise, it will not work. Okay, and here we just need to generate some secrets. So just copy and paste also this, and this will use pvgen, which just generates random secrets and paste it to the environment files. And now our environment files should be a little bit more populated. So as you can see here, the admin passwords, the root passwords, and also these were just added. And if you don't like these secrets, you can just replace it with other ones, but well, I think it's a good approach. Okay, and now we have to complete our environment file. Well, we have to make sure, is our time zone correct? Is our server host name filled out? And is our, or are the values for the initial web admin, is everything okay? So yeah, this server is, has currently, I just already created an A record for it, so it will be reachable by new cfiledemo.e. But let's just do this, cfiledemo.de, and I meet at example.com, and we just take, for example, to make it more easy, top secret. Okay, let's go ahead. I save everything into the environment files and just close it. Okay, next step would be, okay, we need to run Seafile Professional Edition. We need a license, but currently we don't have a license, so there's a possibility just create an empty license file. and then it will be using or fall back to the 3 users free of charge mode. So if we don't create this file, Docker Compose will be just throw an error. Therefore, we just have to create an empty Seafile license file. Okay, and this should be it. Everything is configured to install for the first time our Seafile server. So we just fire up Docker Compose up -d, and now Docker just pulls down all the necessary containers. So that means Caddy for the reverse proxying, Elasticsearch for the full text search, Memcache for caching for the web interface, and MariaDB for our database. And well, for sure, Seafile Professional currently in the version 11.0.14, so the newest version, and it's configured with our environment variables. And if everything goes right, which should be, then we should reach our new server with just entering new Seafile demo.de. And as I said, we don't have to take care of a Let's Encrypt certification or something like this, because Caddy will take care of it. The first time we just try to reach this URL, Caddy will take care of requesting a Let's Encrypt certificate, putting into server, and the complete server is always reachable with HTTPS. For sure, you can configure it to use it with HTTP, but the default value should be, it should be reachable over the URL with a URL and reachable with HTTPS. Okay, so you see the image is still be pulling, or it's still pulled. As soon as it's pulled, it will be just starting, and then it should only take some seconds to reach our Seafile system. Okay, now you can see the Docker containers just started. I didn't fast forward it. This was just normal speed. And here you can see now the different containers are just starting, or they are already healthy. And for sure, if I want to get more information, I can, for example, see the Docker logs. And here you can see, okay, there was no license file found. Therefore, it allows up to 3 users. Then Seafile and Chub was started, and the initial admin was created. So everything looks good. Let's just try to run new Seafile demo.de, and well, it should work. And as you can see, it's already using a secure connection with a Let's Encrypt certificate, which was just generated or requested with Caddy on the fly. And now let me just check if I can just log in, top secret. And here we go. We just logged in for the first time. Seafile is completely configured, and we can immediately start to upload our first file, share some data. The first request should take quite a while because, well, everything is just initialized for the first time. But well, give the system just some more seconds. Okay, and now here we should just have the possibility to create, for example, a markdown file and to create some sharing links. And as you can see, it's using already the correct URL, and everything is just working fine. And if you go to the system administration, we can see, okay, there's no license attached, so we have up to 3 users that we can use. Okay, I hope that you see that the installation, the basic installation, was super simple. But now it comes to the real beauty of this concept, because, well, now in the past you just had to go into the configuration files, and then you have to update the configuration files, and then you had to go to the container and to restart the services. This is all not necessary anymore. Instead, you just still add additional stuff to your environment file, and there is an easy logic which allows you to add any kind of configuration to your server. And basically, this is described in this manual in the part of configuration, that we have a kind of prefix and then the key value pair. So that means the prefix determines in which configuration file you want to write something, and then you just add the key value pair. And sometimes in, for example, the seafile.conf or and basically all the different conf files, you have these sections which just encapsulated with these brackets. So here you have to add prefix, section, key, and value. Okay, sounds difficult? No, it's not difficult. Let me just show 2 examples. For example, we want to enable sign up. Currently, sign up is not enabled. So here on the login page, you don't see this sign up possibility, but we want to add it. Okay, it's nothing easier than that. We just go to the list of all variables and we just search for sign up. And here you can see, okay, in the past, the configuration option was enable sign up true, which had to be added to Seahub. But now we just take this one and we post it into here. We just make this custom and we say true. And basically what happens is it knows now it has to be written to Seahub, and this is the value that has to be written over there. Okay, we just save it and we just execute docker compose up -d. And Docker is so intelligent, it just detects that only the container for Seafile server has to be restarted, because this environment variable is only relevant for this container. And for sure, my system is, for some seconds, it's not available because the container has to be restarted. But as you can see here now, easy configuration change in my end file, and now I have this registration button which allows me to sign up for new users. Okay, another example. Let me just, for example, meet@example.com, top secret. Okay, you might remember there is this web interface section in the system admin area where you can just configure some settings of your Seafile server, and we just want to disable it. Well, if you know from the past, this is just an entry in your Seahub settings, and it's enable settings via web, and we just say false. Or for example, we want to disable the statistics in Seaf events. Then we just say Seaf events. Let me just check. Okay, here you can see Seaf events, statistics enabled. Copy paste, and we just say false. And now again, docker compose up -d, the container is recreated, and within, I would say, 2 or 3 seconds, everything is just configured. And let me just show what happens. Docker exec it Seafile server bash. If you're familiar with this configuration structure, then you can see the configuration files are still there. And the configuration files are just rewritten, and they contain now the settings that we just passed with the environment variables. The same with the Seaf events. Why did we had what we just added is statistics enabled false, because we just said Seaf events in the section statistics, we want to set enabled to false. And this is what basically comes out of this. And for sure, I now can just update this here, this variable over here, and just say Seahub and Seafile sh restart. But every time we restart the container, the complete configuration are rewritten. So this is just for testing purposes. Everything should be configured in your environment file. Okay, this brings me to the end of this video. I hope it was not too long. I wanted to make it short. And I just wanted to show you how easy it is to install Seafile or to deploy Seafile, even a cluster, with just some commands. You basically have just to install Docker on your host. You just have to download the YAML files. You just have to update your environment files, and then you just click or just enter docker compose up -d, and everything is up and running. And especially if you, for example, want to just install a cluster, our predefined, pre-configured YAML files are just ready to use. You just have to add some more environment variables to it, for example, the MariaDB Galera cluster replication, but these are just environment variables. It's super easy just to document it, to store it, to even put it to version control. And as you just saw, the configuration of Seafile becomes super, super easy. And the main purpose was that we will release in the next weeks an easy to use Helm chart, which allows you to deploy Seafile on Kubernetes within minutes with just super easy tasks. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have feedback to this video, either post below this video, but I would prefer that you post your comments to the Seafile community forum. This is where I will also link this video. I would really love to get your feedback about this new deployment method and configuration approach. And if you like this video, just give me a thumbs up. And yeah, we see each other on the next video. Bye.